The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This timeless piece of wisdom reminds us how crucial it is to choose our relationships carefully. You may have heard the saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Today, we'll dive into this idea from a Stoic perspective and explore 7 types of people who can derail your progress in Stoicism and in life. By recognizing these traits and learning how to navigate these relationships, we can stay true to our Stoic path. But before we begin, if you're enjoying content like this, please hit the like button to help us spread Stoic wisdom to more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you won't miss any future videos. Let's begin. Type of people number 1, the complainer. We all know someone who always finds something to criticize, whether it's the weather, their job, or even their favorite TV show. Their dissatisfaction is constant, and they never miss an opportunity to share it with those around them. At first glance, you might think, why should this bother me? I can just tune them out. But ignoring negativity, especially when it's persistent, is often easier said than done. Exposure to constant complaining is like a slow, leaky faucet. Over time, it depletes your emotional reserves and disrupts your mental well-being. Negativity has a contagious quality. It can seep into your thoughts and pull you down. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this, focusing on what you can control and releasing what you cannot. Complaining doesn't solve problems, actionable steps do. Imagine working on a group project with a habitual complainer. Every meeting becomes a stage for their grievances, whether about the workload, the team dynamic, or the timeline. Their negativity doesn't just weigh on you, it affects everyone, creating frustration and reducing morale. Soon, you find yourself dreading the project altogether. So how can Stoicism help us manage complainers? First, limit your exposure. If possible, reduce the time you spend with them. When avoidance isn't feasible, such as with a colleague or close family member, practice mental distancing. Visualize their complaints as a storm passing by, noisy and disruptive but ultimately temporary. Second, steer conversations toward solutions. When they vent about their job, gently ask, "What do you think would improve this situation?" By encouraging constructive dialogue, you shift their focus and protect your own mindset. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Guard your inner peace and don't allow chronic complainers to disrupt your Stoic path. Type of people number 2, the drama magnet. Picture your life as a ship gliding smoothly through calm waters, with a clear destination in sight. Then, out of nowhere, you encounter the drama magnet, a person who seems to carry an unending whirlwind of crises, conflicts, and chaos. Their life is a perpetual storm, and before you realize it, you've been pulled into their vortex. The energy they bring is contagious but in the worst way, disrupting your inner tranquility and leaving you emotionally drained. At first, their stories might seem captivating, even entertaining. Drama magnets often present their crises with such intensity that you feel compelled to listen. However, over time, you begin to see the toll it takes. Their constant need for attention and involvement in conflicts, whether it's a falling out with Sarah today or an argument with Tom tomorrow, becomes exhausting. Worse, their turmoil has a way of dragging others in, including you. Suddenly, you find yourself embroiled in conflicts you never wanted to be part of. So how can Stoicism help you deal with these drama magnets? First, practice reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, simply mirror their words back to them. For example, if they say, "I can't believe Sarah did that," respond with, "It sounds like you feel hurt by Sarah's actions." This approach allows you to show empathy without being drawn into the drama. Second, establish selective unavailability. Set firm boundaries to protect your time and energy. Turn off your phone during focus periods or decline invitations politely but firmly when you need personal space. As Seneca wisely said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. By staying anchored in the present and steering clear of unnecessary drama, you can maintain your peace and keep your ship on course. Type of people number 3, the naysayer. Imagine you're an artist painting a vibrant masterpiece, each brushstroke adding depth and color to your vision. Suddenly, the naysayer appears, standing over your shoulder. "Are you sure about that color?" they ask. Most artists don't make it anyway. Their remarks are not constructive suggestions but seeds of doubt, designed to shake your confidence and dull your enthusiasm. Constructive criticism, when offered in good faith, can be invaluable for growth and improvement. But the naysayer operates differently. Their negativity is not rooted in a desire to help but in a tendency to focus on limitations rather than possibilities. For instance, imagine sharing your excitement about pursuing a new career path. You've done the research, taken a few preliminary steps, and are eager to move forward. Instead of encouragement, the naysayer responds, "The market is oversaturated. Do you really think you can compete? What if you fail?" Over time, their persistent skepticism can chip away at your self-confidence, making you second-guess your decisions and question your abilities. So, how can Stoicism help you handle the naysayer without letting their doubts cloud your vision? 1. Ask for advice. Instead of presenting your goals as a finished plan, position your ideas as questions. For example, instead of saying, "I'm switching careers," say, "I'm exploring a career change. What do you think would be the best first step?" When someone feels they are being asked for advice, they are more likely to offer constructive feedback rather than outright criticism. 2. Flip the script. When the naysayer says, "That's too risky," counter with, "Interesting perspective. How do you think someone could succeed in this field?" This subtle redirection forces them to engage with the problem constructively instead of dismissively. 3. Filter their input. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." While it's wise to listen, not every opinion needs to be internalized. Hear them out, but only absorb insights that align with your goals and values. The key is to guard your mental canvas. Your life's vision is yours to create, not theirs to critique. Don't let anyone's doubts turn your masterpiece into a grayscale version of itself. Stay focused, stay confident, and keep painting boldly. Type of people number 4, the victim. Life can be compared to a game of chess. Each of us starts with the same pieces, and while the board may present challenges, success depends on our ability to make strategic moves and adapt to unforeseen obstacles. The victim, however, views the game differently. For them, every setback is someone else's fault, whether it's the board, the pieces, or their opponent. Their narrative is steeped in helplessness. "I can't win because the system is rigged against me." This mindset keeps them trapped, unable or unwilling to take responsibility for their own choices and actions. It's important to acknowledge that some people face genuine hardships. However, the perpetual victim refuses to see any role they might play in their circumstances. For example, consider a friend who frequently laments their failed relationships, claiming that all their ex-partners were toxic or untrustworthy. While it's possible they've encountered difficult people, their refusal to reflect on their own behaviors or patterns suggests a deeper issue. Over time, spending time with someone entrenched in this mindset can be draining. Their negativity is contagious, subtly encouraging you to adopt a similar worldview where blame replaces accountability. So, how can you effectively interact with someone who embodies the victim archetype without being pulled into their world of excuses? 1. Practice compassionate detachment. Empathy is essential, but it doesn't mean you have to fix their problems. Listen to them with kindness, but don't take on the role of rescuer. They must navigate their own challenges and take responsibility for their actions. 2. Set boundaries. Politely but firmly limit the time you spend discussing their grievances. For example, if a conversation veers into repetitive complaints, gently steer it toward solutions. Encourage them to consider what steps they can take to improve their situation. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." This wisdom reminds us not to adopt the victim's mindset ourselves. Instead, focus on taking responsibility for your actions, learning from setbacks, and moving forward. By doing so, you preserve your own sense of agency and continue progressing on your path, even as others remain stuck in theirs. Type of people number 5, the toxic positivist. You've probably encountered someone who insists that positivity is the solution to everything. To them, life must always be filled with sunshine, rainbows, and smiles. While their intentions may be good, their constant push for positivity can sometimes come across as dismissive and invalidating. When you're going through a tough time and open up about your struggles, their response might be something like, "Just be happy," or "It could be worse." While such statements are meant to uplift, they can leave you feeling unheard and disconnected. Imagine sharing your feelings after a breakup. You're sad, confused, and seeking solace. Instead of offering empathy, the toxic positivist brushes aside your pain with phrases like, "There are plenty of fish in the sea," or "At least now you have more time for yourself." While these remarks may be true, they disregard the complexity of your emotions and the need to process what you're experiencing. Positivity, when excessive or forced, can become a barrier to genuine connection and personal growth. So, how do you respond to the toxic positivist while staying true to your emotional reality? 1. Acknowledge both light and shadow. If they say, "Look on the bright side," respond with something like, "I appreciate the reminder, but it's also important for me to process how I'm feeling right now." This validates their attempt to help while asserting your need for emotional depth. 2. Practice emotional granularity. Embrace the full spectrum of emotions, both positive and negative. For example, instead of simply saying, "I'm sad," identify the nuances. "I feel a mix of sadness and frustration because I was hopeful for a different outcome." This practice helps you understand your feelings better and communicate them effectively. Stoicism teaches us to approach life with balance, embracing both joys and challenges. As Seneca wisely said, true happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This Stoic perspective reminds us that life is not about ignoring difficulties but learning to navigate them with grace and resilience. When faced with the toxic positivist, remember that positivity isn't inherently bad, it's the insistence on avoiding reality that can be harmful. Embrace life's complexities, honor your emotions, and seek meaningful connections rooted in understanding rather than surface-level cheerfulness. True strength comes from acknowledging both the light and the shadow within our experiences. Type of people number 6, the manipulator. Manipulators are like shadowy directors in the movie of your life. Quietly and subtly, they rewrite your script, not to help you grow, but to further their own agendas. These individuals are skilled in the art of emotional maneuvering, using tactics like guilt, flattery, or deceit to influence your decisions. At first, their manipulations may seem harmless or even well-intentioned, but over time, they can leave you feeling drained, used, and frustrated. Imagine a friend who says, "You're so successful, it'd mean so much if you paid for dinner." This seemingly innocuous comment is layered with manipulation. They appeal to your success and generosity, framing their request as a favor to them rather than an imposition on you. If left unchecked, these behaviors can escalate. You might find yourself regularly footing bills, taking on extra responsibilities, or compromising your values to accommodate their demands. The result? Resentment and a growing sense of imbalance in your relationship. So, how can you take back control from the manipulator? 1. Use fogging. This technique involves acknowledging any truth in their statements while refusing to be emotionally coerced. For example, if they say, "You're doing so well, you should treat me," respond with, "You're right, I've been fortunate lately, but let's split the bill as we usually do." This approach disarms their manipulative tactics without compromising your boundaries. 2. Set clear boundaries. Be direct and assertive about what you are and aren't comfortable with. For example, if they ask for a loan, say, "I'm not comfortable lending money, but I'm happy to support you in other ways." This communicates your limits while maintaining the relationship on your terms. 3. Stay mindful of patterns. Manipulators thrive on predictability. If they know how to push your buttons, they'll continue to do so. By recognizing their patterns and responding differently, you disrupt their control. Epictetus reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator's power lies in your predictable reactions. By asserting your autonomy, you reclaim your script and ensure your life story aligns with your values and goals. Ultimately, remember that you are the main character in your story, not a pawn in someone else's game. By setting boundaries, staying mindful, and responding thoughtfully, you protect your peace and write your own narrative with intention and strength. Type of people number 7, the time vampire. Time vampires are not always malicious. In fact, many of them may have good intentions. However, their constant interruptions and demands can quickly derail your day, leaving you feeling unproductive and drained. These individuals have an uncanny ability to consume your most precious resource, time. Whether it's a colleague asking seemingly trivial questions throughout the day or a friend urging you to attend endless social events, their presence can make it difficult to focus on what truly matters. Imagine you're working on an important project with a tight deadline. A well-meaning coworker repeatedly interrupts you with non-urgent queries, pulling your attention away from your task. Or consider a friend who continuously invites you to gatherings that don't align with your priorities. While each instance might seem minor, the cumulative effect can be significant, leaving you frustrated and behind on your goals. So, how can you protect yourself from time vampires without damaging relationships or compromising your values? 1. Use the Pomodoro technique. One effective way to manage your time is by working in focused intervals. The Pomodoro technique involves breaking your work into 25-minute sessions of uninterrupted focus, followed by short breaks. During these focus periods, make it clear that you are not to be disturbed. Politely let colleagues or family members know that you'll be available after your session. This simple boundary allows you to maintain productivity while still being approachable at designated times. 2. Learn to say no. Declining invitations or requests can be challenging, especially when you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. However, a polite and firm no is often necessary to safeguard your time. For example, if a friend invites you to an event that doesn't align with your priorities, respond with, "Thanks for inviting me, but I can't make it this time." There's no need to over-explain, your time is yours to manage. 3. Prioritize your time. Reflect on what truly matters to you. By understanding your priorities, it becomes easier to recognize when someone is encroaching on your valuable hours. Allocating specific blocks of time to your most important tasks ensures that you're dedicating your energy to activities that align with your goals. Seneca wisely said, "Life, if well lived, is long enough." This reminds us that the key to a fulfilling life lies not in having unlimited time, but in using the time we have wisely. Guard your schedule as fiercely as your peace of mind, and ensure every moment is spent in service of your goals and values. By setting boundaries and being intentional with your time, you can keep the time vampires at bay and focus on what truly matters. As we've explored these 7 types of people who can challenge our peace and progress, it's important to remember that Stoicism isn't just about understanding others, it's also about understanding ourselves. Self-awareness is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Take a moment to reflect, are you unintentionally playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Perhaps, without realizing it, you've been a complainer, a drama magnet, or even a time vampire. Recognizing these tendencies is the first step toward growth. Self-awareness not only helps us navigate relationships but also empowers us to align our actions with our values. Let's continue this journey together. Share your thoughts, insights, or experiences in the comments. What resonated with you? Which strategies will you implement? Thank you for watching. Let your choices align with your virtues, your actions reflect your wisdom, and your life become the masterpiece it's meant to be. Until next time, stay resilient and stay stoic.